Throughout history, humanity has devised countless methods of punishment, from medieval torture devices to modern incarceration. Yet physical pain, however extreme, eventually ends. Death, traditionally viewed as the ultimate penalty, at least offers the release of oblivion. But what if there are fates worse than death? What if the cruelest punishments aren't those that destroy the body, but those that eternally torment the mind and soul? Children's animation, surprisingly, explores this disturbing territory with remarkable depth. Behind their colorful facades and family-friendly narratives, many beloved cartoons subject their villains to cruel and unusual punishments that transcend physical suffering. These antagonists don't simply die. They endure psychological torments that would make the worst torture methods in history seem merciful by comparison. Dr. Heinz Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb presents perhaps the most insidious form of extreme punishment, the complete erasure of identity. On the surface, his story appears redemptive. The bumbling villain reforms and becomes a good guy, yet this seemingly happy ending masks a profound tragedy. Doofenshmirtz's reformation isn't redemption but surrender. Throughout the series, despite his villainy, Doofenshmirtz possessed a distinct personality, ambition, and purpose. His inventions, while misguided, represented creative expression. His rivalry with Perry the Platypus gave him connection. His evil schemes provided direction. In reforming, he sacrifices all that made him unique to gain acceptance from a society that never truly embraced him. The psychological punishment here is existential annihilation. Doofenshmirtz doesn't continue living as himself. He exists as a hollow shell, a walking ghost stripped of the very qualities that made him who he was. He becomes nobody, not a villain, not a scientist, not even a father in any meaningful sense. He transforms into a forgotten man who fears his own reflection. Even his nemesis now regards him with pity rather than respect. This fate echoes medieval punishments like civil death, where criminals lost all rights and identity in society. Except Doofenshmirtz's punishment is self-inflicted and eternal. While medieval punishments often involve physical isolation through imprisonment, Sheldon J. Plankton from SpongeBob SquarePants suffers something far more devastating: perpetual psychological isolation in plain sight. Superficially, Plankton appears as a comical failure, the tiny villain who never succeeds in stealing the Krabby Patty formula. Audiences laugh at his repeated defeats. Yet beneath this comedic veneer lies profound horror. Plankton is a genius, the creator of advanced artificial intelligence and sophisticated technology. He possesses awareness and intellect far beyond most Bikini Bottom residents, and he is utterly, completely alone. His wife, Karen, is his own creation, an AI companion he programmed himself, raising disturbing questions about the authenticity of their relationship. His business, the Chum Bucket, stands perpetually empty, a monument to failure. His existence consists of endless schemes doomed to fail, trapped in a cycle of humiliation within a community where everyone actively dislikes him. The cruel and unusual punishment Plankton endures is knowing he will never succeed, never be accepted, and never experience genuine connection. His intelligence becomes his torture device. He's smart enough to recognize his situation but powerless to change it. Unlike physical torture that ends with death, Plankton's punishment renews with each sunrise in Bikini Bottom. Vlad Plasmius from Danny Phantom embodies how immortality itself can become an extreme punishment when stripped of purpose and connection. Initially presented as a powerful antagonist, Vlad possessed everything: wealth, intelligence, supernatural abilities, and ambition. He could have been a hero, a mentor, even a father figure. Instead, his obsession with what he couldn't have, Maddie Fenton and revenge against Jack, transformed him into a ghost both literally and figuratively, haunting the periphery of others' lives without truly participating in his own. His defeat and exile represent more than just a villain's downfall. Vlad's half-ghost nature grants him virtual immortality, but to what end? He exists forever, yet has nothing to exist for. No family awaits him, no legacy remains, no redemption seems possible. He drifts through eternity as a conscious void, experiencing the worst torture methods in history could never inflict. The endless awareness of his own irrelevance. Unlike physical punishments that target the body, Vlad's torment targets the soul. He hasn't died, he has decomposed in memory, forgotten by those whose approval he desperately sought. His punishment is existence without purpose, consciousness without connection, immortality without meaning. The beast from over the garden wall represents perhaps the most disturbing form of psychological punishment: existence contingent upon others' suffering. After his apparent defeat, the beast seems destroyed, yet the truth is far more disturbing. He hasn't died but merely waits. The beast feeds on despair itself. He exists wherever and whenever hope abandons someone. In every dark forest of depression, in every moment of surrender, the beast lingers, waiting to consume another lost soul. This punishment transcends personal suffering. It transforms the beast into suffering itself. He cannot exist independently. His consciousness depends on the pain of others. He doesn't live, he festers in anticipation of someone else's fear. His identity becomes parasitic, his existence a perpetual hunger that can never be satisfied. The horror here extends beyond the individual to become cosmic. The beast embodies the disturbing possibility that some entities exist solely to feed on misery, not causing suffering as a means to an end, but requiring suffering as the very condition of their existence. This concept surpasses even the extreme biblical punishments of eternal damnation, as the beast isn't merely punished by suffering, but transformed into an agent of suffering itself. Bill's Cipher from Gravity Falls faces what might be the ultimate psychological punishment: conscious non-existence. Bill's official fate suggests complete destruction, erased from reality.
As you may have noticed, I've recently had a multi-dimensional makeover.
His backward message, a plea for mercy, suggests not annihilation, but transformation.
I control space, matter, and now that dumb baby's out of the way, time
in limbo between dimensions where consciousness remains, but existence cannot. This punishment represents the most extreme
but I wasn't always this way. You think those chains are tied
to interact, perceive, or even exist in any meaningful sense? Bill experiences.
Imagine living in the second dimension. Flat minds in a flat world with flat dreams.
His omniscience becomes his prison, his immortality his sentence, his consciousness his torture.
I liberated my dimension, Stanford, and I'm here to liberate yours. There's just human skin.
Quit the game, son!
One hitch. As it turns out, my weirdness can't escape the magical confines.
Cipher, if I'm still alive, you must want something from me.
Sharp as ever for.
These cartoon villains reveal a disturbing truth. The most extreme punishments aren't those that end life, but those that transform life into something worse than death. Physical torture targets the body, which eventually fails. Death offers release. But psychological punishment, the loss of identity, eternal isolation, immortal emptiness, parasitic existence, and conscious oblivion, offers no escape. What makes these fates particularly disturbing is their presence in children's entertainment. Behind colorful animation and humor lies sophisticated psychological horror that addresses our deepest existential fears: being forgotten, being alone, being purposeless, being dependent, being trapped in consciousness without existence. Perhaps the true nightmare isn't death at all, but what might lie beyond it? Or worse, what might prevent us from ever reaching its release? As these cartoon villains demonstrate, sometimes the most terrifying punishment isn't dying, but continuing to exist in a state where death would be welcomed as mercy.